I don't know if I should keep my hair like this because I cannot be bothered having it nice. I'm just gonna explain why I'm doing my hair today. Obviously, as you can tell by the title and me posting it on the first day of March. Hopefully I do post it on the first day of March because I don't know if it will be up on the first day of March. We are back with another monthly reading wrap up. You can tell I'm being a bit more consistent with monthly wrap ups because I want to do it more often at the end of each month. But if I don't read enough books to be able to make a video, I think I'll just put it with the next month. This month, I didn't really expect to read much, which I really didn't. I read 6 books, which is really good. That's definitely something I'm proud of because I'm not a person that reads like 20 books a month. I only expected to read like 3 books this month because of the reading stuff I put myself at the end of last month. So yeah, this book I read 6 books and I just finished a book just before this video, so it counts as 6. This month I read 2 physical books just because obviously I'm reading as much as I can on my Kindle before my Kindle Unlimited expires because I have the 3-month trial thing. So we're gonna get right into it. I don't want to waste any time. I am kind of upset to say none of these books were 5 stars for me, but I've kind of changed my rating system. 5 stars is like perfection. There was nothing wrong with it. I absolutely loved it all. I think that's for everyone. So yeah, my rating system's kind of changed a little bit. The first book that I read is Zodiac Academy. Basically, this book is about these twins, Tori and Darcy Vega, and they live in the mortal world and they are orphans. They have been living their life as orphans for a very long time, but have really wanted to escape because the person that they were with wasn't a great person. But obviously now, because they're 18, they're allowed to go off into the world by themselves. But because they've turned 18, things that they didn't know or believe are brought into their lives. This guy named Orion comes over to them in their apartment and is like, and he basically tells them that they're heirs to a throne, but their parents are obviously, they died, and because they're 18, they have to come back to take that throne. They had to go to Zodiac Academy, which is like Hogwarts, but picture Hogwarts 10 times darker. You know, it's the darker version. Basically, at this academy, you have 4 different houses. You have fire, earth, water, air. And with those houses, you get those powers. So, just say if you went to water, you have water powers, you have fire powers. You get the idea. It is extremely common, obviously, to have 1 power. It is maybe a little common to get 2. But for Tori and Darcy, they actually have all 4, which is the most extremely rare. No one else besides them. And so they have become a bit of a threat to everyone, including the 4 heirs that basically rule Zodiac Academy. So yeah, we have 4 boys and they are supposed to be heir to the thrones. Keep in mind as well, no one knew that those girls were alive. They thought they were dead with their parents, but they're not. And so when they come back, they're like, really? Oh shit. Like, we have to fight for this throne. This is a bully romance, but it's a dark bully romance because the boys want to kill the girls. And 2 of them out of the 4 of the boys are supposed to be the love interest for the girls because obviously they're twins and you need 2 boys. They're not going to just share 1 boy. I will say there is no romance in the first book, which really disappointed me because it was described as a bully romance. But I looked it up literally when I was halfway through and it was like, there's no romance in the first book, and I was like, great. I hated everyone in this book except for the twins and 2 of the friends that they had made. I hated the teachers, I hated the students, I even hated the 4 boys. I hated Orion too, by the way. Also, this book, it does have things like sirens and vampires and werewolves and unicorns and Pegasus and all that stuff. Every single boy is a different type. One of them is a vampire, one is a werewolf, another one is a siren, another one is a dragon. I forgot that. There was a dragon. I don't remember the boys' names because I hated them that much that I don't care about them. I did give this book a 3.5 just because this book really frustrated me with everything that the boys were doing. I did know coming in that it was going to be a bully romance, right? I do get frustrated easily, so I think that's really the problem with it, because I did get frustrated to the point where you get like tears of frustration, you know? And I had to just put my Kindle away a lot of the time. I enjoyed it a little bit, I just didn't love it and it wasn't amazing, but I think I will continue on. People have said that the second and third book are really good and they do have romance in it, so maybe I'll read those in the future, just not right now. That is that book. I don't want to talk about it anymore. Next book that I read this month, Twisted Games. Can you even see that? I tabbed a lot. This book was so good. Oh my god. This book is part of the Twisted series. If you didn't know, this is the second book. I did read the third book before this one just because I had an arc of it, so I didn't have time to read this before the third book, so I read it this month. This one follows Bridget, and she is a princess and she is second in line to the throne because her brother is before her. But unfortunately, her brother actually steps down, and so now she's in line for the throne to be queen, which she does not like. But you also meet her new bodyguard, Reese Larson. Bridget and Reese are my favorite out of the series so far. I absolutely love them. I loved this book. It was so good. I did rate this a 4.5. Only because I didn't give it the 0.5 was because of the start. There is a lot of time jumps because it does start with being in twisted love from where she first meets Reese until the moment at the kind of the end of the book, and so during that there was a lot of time jumps and I wasn't a fan of that. But once I got to like part 2, I devoured this book. I highly recommend going and reading the series. I do recommend, however, reading it in order, which I didn't do, but now I'm up to date. I've read all 3 books and now I'm ready to read Twisted Lies, which I'm so excited for. Stella and Christian already. I'm so excited. Absolutely loved this book. Oh my god. Next book is another book that I read on my Kindle, and that is Hooked. This is the first book in the Never After series. So basically it's villains getting their happy ending, which I absolutely love. So this one is a Peter Pan one. So you have Hook and Wendy. Hook is kind of like in a gang type mafia thing. He works with a guy named Rue, who has basically raised him since he was a kid. They have this whole business, which includes like the Jolly Rogers. If you know, like, you know, references. I love that. And so he is after Peter Michaels, who is Wendy's dad. In this one, Wendy's last name is not Darling, because in this Hook calls her Darling, which is so cute. So it's Wendy Michaels. Hook wants to kill Peter, and the only way he can get to him is by Wendy. So he already knows who she is when she walks into the Jolly Rogers for the first time, and he wants to use her as kind of bait, I guess, and have her on his arm. It's not great when I explain it, but I promise you it is really good in the book. I promise. You just have to read it and trust my word on this. But you know, obviously his plan doesn't go well because he falls in love with her and everything, and it's so cute. We have so many references like pixie dust, Jolly Rogers, Smee, like the quote straight on till morning. I gave this book a 4.5. Wendy did annoy me a little bit. There was a lot of times where she just annoyed me. I'm like, girl, like, are you that like dumb and blind? But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I cannot wait to read the rest of the series. The next one is Scarred, and that's a Lion King one. And she has the third one coming out, which is a Wizard of Oz one, I'm pretty sure. Also, when I was reading this, if anyone's watched Once Upon a Time, picture Hook from there. That's who I just pictured a little bit of, you know, just a little bit, not with the beard. Next book I read is another physical book, and that is Verity. I don't want to say too much about this just because I have a reading vlog that I have on my channel that is up, so you can go and watch that if you want to after this video. But basically this is about a girl named Lowen, and she gets hired to basically ghostwrite for a famous writer named Verity. And so the reason that she's ghostwriting for Verity is because Verity had an accident and she's not able to write and she's on bed rest. So Lowen has to go to her house and look through everything to kind of be in her mind and be able to write the rest of Verity's series. and that is where she stumbles across a manuscript or an autobiography. It's essentially about her life and her twins that had passed away when they were young. This is a thriller book, so obviously we get those twists and turns and everything and plot twists. I gave this book 4 stars just because people did say that this book was like mind-effing. That part disappointed me because I didn't feel that way about the book, so that's my only issue, and it just needed a bit more. Like, it was creepy, but it wasn't scary to the point where I wasn't able to sleep at night. Okay, but truth be told, there was one part in the book where I did get creeped out. But for anyone that's read this book and, you know, people are gonna ask, what team are you, manuscript or letter? I am definitely 1,000,000% team manuscript. I don't want to spoil why I'm team manuscript because it'll spoil the book. I'm sorry, the letter just, like, it's convincing. I will say it's pretty convincing, but no. The next book that I read, it's a very short read. It's 109 pages, and that is My Best Friend's Sister. I'm just gonna look up the description for this because I cannot be bothered explaining. She was his best friend's little sister. He was supposed to watch out for her, not sleep with her, not fall for her. For Jackson Walsh, women are easily accessible to him as the yellow taxi cabs outside of his New Jersey penthouse. His days filled with growing his thriving business and his nights with countless women he'd meet while out. Jackson is only accountable for himself, which is how he liked it. But when Jackson's best friend asks him to watch out over his little sister when she moves to the big city, he's faced with the challenge of deciding whether the one woman he couldn't have, the one he should stay away from, was actually the woman for him. I was generous with this book to give it the rating that I did because I did not really like Jackson. He was cute and, you know, he did all this stuff for her. He kept at the start referring to her as like she was 10 years old. Like, he was like, oh, I wonder how different she looks. Does she still look like the same? I'm like, the last time you saw her, she was 10 years old. As soon as he sees her, he's like, oh, like, she's gorgeous. I want to be with her and everything. I needed a short read because I thought that was going to be like the last book I was going to read for the month, but I did finish it really quickly. I did give it a 3.5. I would have given it a 2, but I was being generous. On to the last book that I read this month, and I just finished it today. I finished it in a day and a half. I would have finished it in a day, but I had acting yesterday, so I didn't get the whole day. I read The Enemy Trap. So good. I loved it. Basically, this is about Sophia and Hayes. They are enemies. They have been enemies since high school, and they are friends with Holly and Scott. And obviously Holly is friends with Sophia and Scott is friends with Hayes, and so they know that those two have a bit of, you know, tension and enemies. But they're also godparents of Holly and Scott's daughter, or kids actually, because I have 2. Holly's a photographer and she does all these like family shoots, but she said that she wanted to branch out and do a wedding photo shoot. Holly convinces Sophia to be kind of like the bride in this photo shoot, and Scott convinces Hayes to be the groom. But they don't know that they are going to do the photo shoot together. They were doing this photo shoot on a yacht, and Holly leaves Sophia and Hayes stranded on the yacht in the middle of the ocean for 24 hours so they can figure out their little enemy. And so them being on that yacht and getting drunk ends with Sophia getting pregnant. It's not a spoiler, it is in the back of the book, so I'm not spoiling anything, don't worry, because this is basically full-on pregnancy trope in this book. So if you don't like pregnancy trope, at least give it a go. I actually don't mind the pregnancy trope. I am not like a big fan of it, but I do like it if it's done well. If it's done well, I really like it, but if it's not done well and he like proposes to her or something because she's pregnant, then I hate it. But this book does it so well. I loved it. Also as well, Hayes is a hockey player and he has this whole reputation of being a playboy and sleeping with puck bunnies, which I only get puck bunnies because of the Off-Campus series, so that's the only reason I know puck bunnies. But yeah, obviously the media knows him as a playboy. So Hayes' agent kind of comes up with an idea after he finds out that Sophia is pregnant, for them to be kind of fake engaged, I guess, because they didn't want to like ruin his reputation, and because he had like one last chance to stay on the hockey team. I love Sophia and Hayes so much. They are so cute. Hayes is such a softie. I love him. Also as well, in this book, it's the guy falls first, but like he didn't really realize it until a while later. like a couple of weeks later. But yeah, I did rate this book a 4.5 just because honestly there were quite a few spelling mistakes and grammar errors which are could be easily pointed out and I think need to go back and be refined. But either way, I still really love this book. My camera is about to die. At least I literally got to the last book. But yeah, that is all the books that I read this month. All 6. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more content by me, and turn on the notification bell so you know every time I upload. I do have a TBR for next month, so hopefully I'm able to stick to it because I did not stick to my TBR for this month. But we'll see what happens. Yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye! Parker. I love this jumper, it's so comfy.